Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned in to the Activity Call Live. Filmed today in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky. Now, let's hear it for our special guest host, Mike and Noelle Lewantowicz.
Mute button was on. There we go. My mute button is now off. Hey guys, excited to be here today. Welcome to the Alliance team. If you're joining us and here for the first time, welcome. If you're part of our team, hey, glad you're back here. Glad you're taking some time to invest in your thought process and what you're doing. We are having fun today. And I'll just tell you, hey guys, it's Friday. It's December 3rd. And while we're closing this year strong, we're focused on next year too, and building momentum and putting things in place. And so I just, hey, we got several things we're going to hit on today. And we're going to kind of just cover some basics, some small things, some smaller topics, and some bigger thought process topics. So if you're here and you're trying to figure out, hey man, how do I, we call this the activity call. How do I take activity and what's the activity I need to be doing? We're going to weave some of that in. How do you know if you're off track? How do you watch your thinking? That's out there. But man, if I just sit back and I start, looking at things, people say, hey, Mike, you've got 2 kids in college. You've got 2 in high school. Your kids have all gone to private school and in college, and you're paying tuition out of cash and you're able to handle that. They said, Mike, you're able to travel and do things. You've got, strong net worth. You've got a business that's creating, a strong income that's passive. I said, Mike, hey, how did all this come about? How did this happen? And I thing I can tell you is the best thing that Noelle and I did is we made a decision. And probably one of the best decisions in our lives was to say, hey, we're going to build this. We're going to build our Alliance business. And, at the time, it may have come through the one decision. I don't know if it was a eureka moment, but it was probably layered by a couple pieces. The first part was Noelle met Alex and heard what was going on and decided to jump in a van and drive from Dayton, Ohio to Raleigh, North Carolina, a van with 6 other guys. Overnight to be at a meeting to check out the program, saw what was there and made a decision to come back and get started. And even when I said, not for me at that time, she made a decision to say, I'm going to do this despite, my husband doesn't want to. And then when I came on board and then I saw what was going on, I saw I was making money. I said, I can scale this up. I made a decision to quit my job. I made a decision to go all in. And, and then it's like, hey, we got hit with stuff. It's like, next thing you know, it's like we got pregnant. We decided to try to move across the country to build this to California from Dayton. And we got hit with some major adversity. But we clung to the decision because we knew it was still the right thing. It was just a matter of, okay, what do we got to shift to make it work? It wasn't all perfect, but we've honored that decision to ourselves, a commitment to say, hey, we're going to build this business. We're going to make it right. And I'll tell you what, the rewards have been great, but it's because we made a quality decision and backed it up. And so I tell you that it's like, hey, the things that we have found along the way to help us in the leadership and the growth of this program and the refinement, if I look at what Andy's done, and hey, I love Andy Albright. He's been a great influence and leader for us, but I will tell you, he's not perfect. God, the mistakes have been many, but it's like it's been with the intent of how do we make the Alliance better? How do we put ourselves in a position to grow? How do we allow people access to better tools to make this program continue to be lucrative and allow more people to leverage it and take advantage of it. And so I think that's been at the core. I think that's, so I think it's very real to me. Hey, of course, there have been mistakes along the way. God, we got mistakes happening daily, yet it's in the direction and the trajectory of, hey, we're growing, we're focused, and we're doing it in a way where we feel good about how we're treating people along the way. Had somebody I was talking to yesterday, he said, man, I was working with this company, and he said, I buried my mama, my uncle, and a cousin all in the last month, and they called me on the day I was going to my mama's funeral, said, we need you to come in and work today. And this is a company in the financial arena, life insurance, other things. And it's like, I can't believe they called me. And I was like, man, I was like, yeah, it's rough. It's like, what I like is that Andy's always given me the space to be who I need to be, to do what we need to do, giving us the freedom to choose. But ultimately, I made a decision. So I've been the big boy to make the decision to show up and know when I need to show up. But it's never been, I've never been ridiculed. I've never been told, hey, you have to do this. I've been saying, hey, it'd be a good idea if you do this, but always given the space. And that's just like, man, I appreciate that. I've got some people on the call with me today, people that I see as leaders. And I could talk about leaders that we found, that I've been able to lean on. Noel's been able to lean on with the Alliance. We found that Alex and Jenny A being able to support us and set an example and for us to hang with and give us space to learn. We found other leaders that are focused and growing their business. A guy like Paul Roberts, who's hit partner, a guy, like Stephen Davies, who even right now is showing his ability to grow an organization and still be in the field and helping out and blazing a trail. A guy like Adam Katz, just extremely loyal, focused, travel and serving. Guy like Andy Riddle, who's a competitor and putting it out there. And these guys are drafting other people. I could start to call out names. And again, I don't mean to exclude people, but just things are coming to mind as leaders that we found to run with. Leaders on the corporate staff, whether it's a Robbie Kraft or Chris Hill or Clay Murders or Lead Performance Team, people that we can count on, and Jim Henson, that we can pick up the phone. We got a situation and get guidance with. These are powerful things that's taken time to develop, and people I can have a conversation with and trust. It means a lot. And so if you're here and you're newer, man, I hope that you take the time to inspect these leaders and these relationships and get around, give yourself enough time to get around and build the relationships, because they're out traveling to see you. And then certainly in January, we've got our conference event. You're going to have a chance to be there. Somebody asked me the other day, said, Mike, what's it worth to be at the conference? I said, I think our carrier relationships are important. Our carriers are going to be there. If you try to go out and meet with each of our carriers one-on-one, we're now up to, I don't know, I lose count, but if we just say, look at the life carriers, I think we're probably up to 20 life carriers or life and annuity carriers. That'd be 20 trips just to get around to see all of our carriers. If you were trying to do it here, you can knock all 20 of them out in one day, not to mention all the other value. If you're trying to meet, some of our lead vendors are going to be there. You're going to have a chance to meet with the Lead Performance Team and other vendors they've brought in at our conference. You got our health carriers, our IUL specialists, BAM and our annuity and RIA specialists, all in one spot for you to connect with. And that's outside of just the skills of selling and building and growing that you're able to do, but investing and understanding and taking the time to leverage the culmination or the gathering of leaders in one spot. Continue to talk about that, because that is going to be life-changing. You're going to find people that are going to help you as you continue to grow. So I invite you to be there. That's big. But the people that are with me today, here's the next thing we found. We found leaders, people that are growing and leading in their own capacity. And, we could have pulled more people onto this call. I wanted to keep it a little small and cozy, and I got some stories here from some of these guys to share. But these are people that, are emerging, are doing things, that are facing challenges, but we're watching them grow and put stuff together. Chris, I know you and I have chatted a few times this week, and we look back at it kind of as you've gotten rolling. This is again, we're wrapping up your first year of being full-time. I know you went full-time about midway through the previous year, but kind of share with us just kind of your background and maybe even some of the decision your decision to get moving and kind of what that's been like for you.
Sure. So I started like you mentioned, I started full time about right at the height of the pandemic was when I started full time with the Alliance. My other job ended up going away, and I think this is maybe a good lesson for maybe somebody else, where we've heard it a bunch of times. Make a friend before you need a friend, and so I started with the Alliance on a part-time basis. And when my job went away, that made the decision easy to go full time. And it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. And a little about my background: I'm an engineer by education. I've worked in several different roles, both technical and commercial, in the automotive industry and the IT industry. And so I've seen all the different things, all the different places, different training, different support. And as well as the types of money that you can make in all those places. And it's basically the same. What I think is unique about the Alliance is first of all, the unlimited income opportunity, as well as all the support and training and mentorship. That's unmatched any place I've ever been. But one thing I really want to make sure I mention is, I really love the name of this call, the activity call, because for me, activity is what it's been all about. In this, when I was getting started, and even now, you can't do what is it? It's work times communication times leads, right? And so the work has to be there, because 0 times 100 and 100 is still 0, right? So the work for me has been what it's all about, and just listening to my upline and being coachable, and just throwing the work at it and throwing the activity at it. And, it's gotten me to this point, and, we're taking aim, much higher than where I'm at. And, I'm excited for 2022. I'm excited to finish out this year, strong, and, I'm fired up.
Well, that's cool. So, I think that's interesting. You made the decision to hang around and do something part-time and not thinking about a career change, and all of a sudden, boom, the world changed on you, and you decided to step up and make this full-time, and walking through that. And so as far as the results, like if you compare what you've put together income-wise now compared to where you're at as an engineer, what are some of the differences that you're seeing, measurable differences because of that?
Just to put numbers to it, in the different roles that I had, I was making, anywhere between, 60 and 80,000 a year. And like you mentioned, this is my first full-time year with the Alliance, and I'm on track. I'm just barely below 100,000 for the year. So that's a record income year for me. I'm hoping, or next year is going to be much bigger. And putting together a team, as well for me, it's just the opportunity. Because in what I did before, it didn't matter whether I did a good job. It didn't matter how many hours I worked. It didn't matter. None of that mattered. Really, what they don't tell you, or what my experience was, is that if your boss likes you, then you're going to do good. You're going to get promotions. You're going to get raises. If your boss doesn't like you, then you're not. You may not even have a job if your boss doesn't like you. It's really just about making that one guy happy. With this, it doesn't really matter. If you do a good job, it shows up in your paycheck, and that's the bottom line. And I love that. Number one, and number two, it's unlimited. There's in any regular job, there's in a role, they put caps on you, and there's that guy's making too much money, which makes you a target for losing your job. So it's just a crazy world, and this to me makes just much more sense, and I love it. I'm all in for sure.
And I think, as you talk about unlimited, because you could have seen your income grow in the engineering world from 80,000 to 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you'd moved your income from 80 to 100,000. How much more upside would you have had if you'd hit 100,000 in the engineering world right now?
It's tough to say. The one thing I'll go back to is that it's all dependent on somebody else deciding that you deserve it, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of politics that go on there, and you could maybe, if you really were in the right position, in the right place at the right time with the right person, you could get to 150,000, maybe, maybe 120, 150. And that would be brilliant. 100,000 would be brilliant as an engineer, but it's just you wouldn't have much upside beyond that, unless you're talking about like a CEO or something like that, which is just.
There we go. So taking that, so you'd be an engineer and you could be at 100. Maybe you'd be thinking, well, maybe I got room for 20 or 50,000 more per year, and then I'm tapped out. So now here you are, you're 100,000 your first full year, and knowing what you're building between your first year commissions, renewals, overrides, because you've got an organization coming on. What do you see as a projection or the limit, or even just the believable growth for the next, as you go into next year being your second full year and third full year? What are you seeing for yourself? And it's because you've made this decision.
I've been putting a lot of thought into that lately. And I want to hit, I've got targets in my mind. I'm working on my self-concept, right? So I want it to be where, as high as I possibly can. I also want to make sure that it's achievable. I don't want it to be a demotivational goal. I think 300,000 is entirely possible.
For next, are you saying for next year, or are you saying ever?
Yeah, ever. It's that number is big to even think about right now. But right now, I think 300,000 is going to be tough, but completely doable
for next year.
Yeah,
you're saying so for 300,000 for next year is tough but doable, but it's doable. But you're saying the challenge is to move from 100,000 to 300,000 next year is the challenge.
Yeah, it's doable because I know somebody who's doing it. I know a couple people, and that's the proof that it's doable, right? Because someone else is doing it. So yeah, it's entirely possible. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of change on my part, but I'm in for it. Let's do it.
Okay, and I think like you said, hey, so and I know you're hesitant to say I'm committed to making 300,000 next year, but I can say that's what we're trying to say. And I think the great thing is here's the cool thing. If you shoot for 300, you come up at 250 or you come up at 240, it's still a hell of a jump. And because of the passive income components of what you're building, you're going to hit it the next year. Yeah. It's almost like you're adding layers of income when you play this all out. So it's not like, oh well, next year it'd be like running a race and say, well, shoot, I'm hoping for my best time, and my best time and whatever it is. If you were running, I'm trying to think of a marathon, you say, well, I was hoping for a 4-hour time, and I came up at 4 hours and 30 minutes. Well, next time, got to start all over again. It's like starting off. I got to run a whole nother 4-hour marathon. Here, it's like, yeah, you're going to run another year, but you already got stuff that you've built up that you're adding layers on, and it's such a powerful thing that really allows you to take your vision higher when you play this the right way. So I think that's just a big thing. You got the ability to shoot for something big, make it happen, get after it. And I think that's out there. Hey, that's good, Chris. You had a little bit of a setback the other day. We were talking about, I don't know how much you want to share about that. But I know you had a little bit, as we all have goals and we have things that punch us in the face. You want to share a little bit about what happened and kind of how you were feeling and how you continue to react to it?
Yeah, so I feel I made a bit of I don't know. I guess I just put it bluntly. I made a bit of a mistake. So there's probably some other people on this call, or well, no one on this call has ever done this before. You wear your contacts a little bit too long. You know, you're not supposed to. You know, you're trying to stretch them a couple more days or whatever. Well, I did that, and I woke up one day, and my eye or I took my contacts out. My eye was really red just last Tuesday, and ended up going to the doctor. I can't wear my contacts. I don't have a backup pair of glasses. So I basically I'm looking at you now with one contact in, and I've got these readers. These aren't my real glasses. And so, long story short, I'm basically getting around is difficult. So what I figured out is my dad's here in town, and so I had him come pick me up and drove me around to my appointments. That was even beyond all of that. That there was a character building day because I sat with 5 people that day, and 4 of them, the first 4, I wrote nothing, and then in the last home, I wrote over 5,000 in AP. So yeah, I was so overjoyed with that, and so I'm just below 10,000 for the week. Still going out later today here after the call, and I've got some door knocks to do and a couple of appointments. But yeah, once again, it goes back to the activity, right? So just keeping the activity up regardless of the challenges, it's a little bit of eye trouble isn't going to keep me from going partner.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. And going partner. I think that's big. And, it's like, we're all going to get, and this is just an adversity this week. This isn't like the only challenge Chris has faced, but hey, it's like, what do you do? He could have said, well, I can't see. I'm just going to hunker down in my house and not do anything for the next few days. But you texted me. Said, man, I got to talk. Came out of the eye doctor, got some bad news. I'm thinking, my man's gone blind. I mean, I'm thinking the worst because all I see is this text, right? And I got some concerns. I need some help. And he explains, like, okay, well, that's good. It could have been worse. It's like, no, I didn't say exactly that, but I'm just thinking, do we have to start shopping for glass eyeballs for Chris, or what are we going to do? But I'm like, okay, hey, well, what tools can we do? He's like, I can still get in the car. I can go see people. I can talk to people. I can still use my phone. Okay, well, let's find you a C&I person, we've told people to say, hey, a blind dog with a note and an application in its mouth can come out with an application filled out. So now we know kind of a semi-blind agent can go out and do the same thing. So if you're wondering, it's like, yeah, we've proven that now, and it can get a $5,000 application. So there's hope. And I think the fact is that, hey, you just realizing what you're going to, and again, we're all going to get faced with different challenges, but it's the mindset. And I think, Brian Tracy's got this thing where he says, hey, whatever you believe with feeling becomes your reality. So if you say, I can still go out and win, I can still go out and perform, I can still go out and have a good week, I can still have a record week, even if I can't see for a while, and whatever your situation is, can you believe it with feeling and continue to act as if you will get there? I believe partner is real. I believe I can sell and recruit and build my way to partner. I have no doubt. Well, I've seen Paul Roberts, so I've seen Fitz, so I've seen Andy do it. So I know it's doable. I've seen some of the videos of some other people that are partners. I'm like, it's like, if I don't do it, that'd be an embarrassment to myself. So understanding that, I think, is huge. But Chris, hey, I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate your determination to win. And yes, you're going to get punched in the face sometimes with stuff, but how do we keep winning? Because we've made a decision to win. So that's a big thing, Joseph, you're out there. Bo, you as a leader that's coming on and got an organization with people hitting new records on your team last month. And I think, did y'all have a record month of volume in the month of November? Was that a record for y'all?
No, but it was certainly in the top 3 for the year.
And so here's what's crazy. So top 3, I'm sorry, I'm interjecting already. you had a good chunk of your team. Your top producers were all in Aruba for like 5 to 9 days. And we had Thanksgiving, and we still had close to a record month. So I think that's pretty crazy. I know you had some individual personal records with your team, but I cut you off there. But talk to us about, just the momentum, things that you've decided along the way. What's kind of happening right now?
Well, thanks for asking me on the call first. It's interesting. Like when I think back to where the Alliance was when I started, and to where it's like what it's grown into. Really, when I came in, it was I was doing mortgages and just trying to figure that out. I've been doing it for a few years and making some money. But really, what I saw here, I saw the ability to really a leadership development company that just sold insurance. And at that point, we had like 2 carriers and 2 products. I mean, it was way different than it is now. And just to watch the last 15 years, how it's changed. And how it's grown and how it's gotten better. And like you said, we've had ups, downs, and we're always looking at the horizon and how we can get better to the next step. It's still true. We are a leadership development company. And I think right now, looking at what has happened with Paul Roberts and with Fitz and with other people and guys that are reaching for partner, I see my shot. I see my shot not for me, but I see my shot for guys like Jake and Beret and Jera and James and Pan and every person that I've ever hired, every person on our team. I know that they say speed of the team, speed of the leader, speed of the pack. But I was looking at John Maxwell, and I know we've had John at a bunch of our meetings, and Andy and John are friends, and it's cool because I was able to meet John Maxwell because of being here at the Alliance, and John's been a hero of mine for a long time. But he said something that you'll only go as high as your team will take you. You will not achieve what your dream is. You will achieve the level that your team is. So what I'm seeing now and what I'm really excited about is I'm excited about what the team is doing. It's being able to really look, and Mike, and see what you and Noel have created, and the fact that you guys are focused on enabling and empowering your leaders to lead and encouraging them to step out and to be fearless and know that, hey, if you couldn't fail, what would you do? If you know that there was a 100% chance, Chris, that you will make $300,000, dude, what would you throw in the pot if you knew there was no freaking way you could lose? Like, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at just the warriors and winners that we have on the entire Alliance team. And I see not only people with potential, but I see people that are putting that potential to use, and people that are leaning in more, and they're asking more questions, and they're desiring to step into leadership. So I'm so stoked right now, because with the tools that we have and the possibility that someone has to not only go out there and make 6 figures, or Chris, multiple 6 figures, being great in the field, helping people, but literally being able to create generational wealth, 7-figure and multiple 7-figure and 8-figure income streams, by going partner and partnering. And it's like expanding our vision. So once again, the leadership of Andy has lifted the lid off of what I see as possible. And Mike, it's what you believe with emotion. So what do we believe with emotion? Do we believe that we're going to win, or do we believe that we're going to not win? So, dude, I'm fired up out of my freaking mind right now.
Hey, that's good. In fact, speaking of belief, I think numbers can help fuel your belief. And so I'm going to ask, Stephen Handy helping us up in the background. He's going to bring up our leaderboards as we talk about activity and results. And we'll start off with our issued paid folks. If we look at number 12, Lenoris Washington, I love this guy. And the story is he is part-time, but cooking along with 2 applications, $7,800. Martez Washington, $8,800 on 3 apps. We got Rian Clow on Mike and Brittany Rodriguez team with 7 apps, $8,800. And by the way, this is coming off of like a Thanksgiving week where our carriers and banks were shut down for some of the time. So these are great numbers especially considering that this was factored into a holiday week here. Elena Amadobi, 8,800. Brian Rojas and his wife Cristaline, 8,900. Marnie Frank, 9,900. Kevin Lewis, his first month out of the gate, getting rolling on a leaderboard, 10,100 with 4 apps. Tanya Peritas on the Otsoid team, 10,300. Jeremy Patton, 11,200. Megan Wood on 23 apps. Again, Andy made the comment the other day. She may not be number 1 every week, but she seems to be in the top 3 every week with 12,000. Again, on 23 applications. Amory Brax on Stephen Bowery's team, 1 app for 20,000. I think that was an annuity. And Steve Mamoritas, 2 apps for 22,400 on Kerry and Mike Williams' team. So some studs on the personal production side there. On the annuities issued, again, you see some probably repeat on these numbers. But Adam Burge with 200, Marcus and Carla Richardson at 29,000, Brittany Flores with 30,000, Nick Narlis with 35,000, Jeremy and Amy Patton, 108,000. And Amory Brax with 200,000. So again, some nice work on the annuity side there. And annuities, things are flowing and popping. You'll continue to see more of that. The submitted business, you got to submit it to get it issued. And as we look at this again on a holiday week, where I know some of the numbers may not have been fully gotten in and processed on this leaderboard, but a good chunk here. So again, Mercedes and Gustavo Turan with 9 apps, 6,900. Sabrina Floyd, 8 apps for 7,100. Caroline Paw, 10 apps for 7,200. Jeff Schultz, 4 apps for 7,500. Hutchison with 10 apps for 8,300. Emily Katz, 5 apps, 8,500. Junior Korea, 9 apps for 9,800. Chris Manifold, you saw him here, 7 apps for 10,000. Lenoris Washington, 3 apps, 10,900. Robert Sarge Wilson, 8 apps for 11,000. Michelle Cullen, 11 apps for 13,000. And Megan Wood with 35 apps for 22,400. So crazy. Hey, seen some strong stuff there. We'll kind of comment on CVS as they've got contests. And so CVS, Brian and Cristaline, 1,900 issued paid. Kyle and Nina Wilson, congratulations on your wedding with 4,003 apps. Martez with 3 apps and 8,800. Hey, recruiters, you're going partner. You're going to have to find somebody to do it with you. So having some activity and effort and results on the recruiting side, we've got to get them contracted. So Mike and Kate Marisi with 1, G. Chris Robinson, Eric and Bobby Belair all with 1. Yennefer Camacho Pina, James and Cherisho Barr, Jake and Vray Joseph on the call here, Stephen Holly Davies, each with 2. Spencer Albright with 3 coming on as he's just getting underway, working in the Alliance for the first time. Diane Lampy, 5. Fitz, 5. Olga Jason Mathis, 5. And Brandon Ashley Beal with 6. Way to go, Brandon Ashley, stepping it up and starting to blaze a bigger trail there. So these are some of the players. We've got some other leaderboards. There's other contests. Feel free to pay attention to those. Those are leaderboards I wanted to hit on. So with that, kind of come back to the guys that we've got here. And I like the fact that, hey, look, we put these leaderboards out. It's a chance for you to see what's going on. Somebody said, as we were talking to him the other day, he said, man, my daddy said, it's all too good to be true. I said, well, why'd your daddy say that? I said, what's his background? Tell me. I was just curious. I said, tell me about your dad. And he's like, well, my dad, he's worked in construction all his life. He's been there 35 years. I said, what's the most money your dad's ever made? He said, I think he probably makes about $58,000 a year. He makes a good living. I said, you know what? I said, somebody probably told your dad that working somewhere else and making over 100 or 200 or 300,000 a year was too good to be true. I said, it's probably your dad's programming. He don't mean to limit you, but understand somebody limited him and he don't know better. I'm just going to ask you to look at our leaderboards, look at our numbers. If you want to show them with him, fine, but I don't know if you can change his thinking, but you're young enough, you can change your thinking. And I did, it's like it hurt to hear that this guy is, thinking and limited his thinking based on his dad. His dad don't know, but his dad's just falling into this trap of believing this reality, nothing beyond it. And he's got nothing but love in his heart for his son. He don't mean that, but my gosh, we've got to watch for, and you don't want to belittle his dad because his dad don't mean it. His dad just can't help it. And so understanding the lens, because you could look at the guy that you recruit and say, that idiot, that moron, next. You could, sometimes it could be with this. I ain't got the patience for that. So maybe take a little bit of patience and see if you can help him see where's that coming from, and just the tools, so our leaderboards are a tool to help you. It's a tool to help expose and help share the reality that's out there. And by the way, with the money that's being given away on the Foresters contest, the CVS contest, the top producers contest, and the agency manager growth contest for the fourth quarter, 4 ways to pull in lead money to help you reinvest is pretty powerful. And some of it is straight up cash, however you choose to spend it. That's a huge thing. I look at just the future that we have in front of us and the things that have lined up. So you happen to be someone newer and you're bringing some to the table. I'm more excited as I recruit and grow because I know the future that people have as they're walking in the door today and what we have to help somebody out. Now, somebody can say, "Oh man, our business is hard." Well, of course it's hard. If it were easy, it wouldn't pay so good. If anybody could do this with ease, they wouldn't need us. It's hard enough to keep some of the wimpy ones out, but it's simple enough we can teach anybody to do it. So anybody can do this. Here's what I tell you. Say, Mike, you're trying to say it's hard. Here's what I'll tell you. It's hard, but not hard. This is simple enough that we can teach people to do this. You can do this. You can teach somebody to do this. You can be an engineer and we can still help you overcome that. I'm living proof. Chris is living proof. You said you have to be smart. I think it holds us back sometimes. Okay. You can be someone that's not good at numbers and you can be ADHD and you can be scattered. And you need to have some organization. That's why I hire staff. But you can be scattered and be a hot mess, but be engaging with people, and you can win. We can teach you this. It's simple enough that even you, if you know you're poorly organized or a hot mess but love talking to people, we can teach you to do this. Anybody can do this, but not everybody will. And that's kind of that's why there's a reward. So you got to ask, why is it? Why do I want to believe? Why am I not believing? Jake and Wright, you guys made a decision. Y'all are here. Talk to us a little bit about the decision you guys made when you went full time a couple years ago. Share people your background and kind of what's going on.
Thank you. And thank you, Mike, for having us on. Chris, I love your story. I love that. That's just, you got to do what you got to do. What else are you going to do? Can't watch TV if you're blind at home. So I love it.
Jake was like, maybe he quoted him wrong and he thought it was 5,000 AP.
It could have been more. It might have been more, Chris. No, anyway, thank you, Mike, for having us on here. Thank you, Andy and Jane. I was just thinking, I came from a background working in construction, working in the movies here in Albuquerque. And, as far as income, 65,000 wasn't bad. Got us some stuff, bought us a house, bought us a car, met some really good people that were in our wedding. And, but one thing that came to mind, I worked with this guy and he was probably in his 30s or 40s when this incident happened, but he was working on this set and he fell damn near 3-4 stories, broke almost every bone in his body, recovered. And when I met him, it had been a couple of years since the accident, and I see him and I knew there was something wrong. He's just like walking funny, all stiff. The guy is basically put back together with metal and titanium and all this stuff. And I come to think about it now, I'm like, oh my goodness, imagine if I had stayed in that business and something like that happened to me and I was forced to go back and work 60, 70 hours a week broken, where I couldn't even walk, take one step comfortably. And I'm just like, that's, I love the people there, but at the end of the day, that's what I saw. I was like, the guy had no choice, poor man. He's broken and beaten up and he's got no choice. What else is he going to do? And I love being able to find this because I have a choice and I had a decision to go do something. But that, I mean, as we were talking about that, that just popped in my head, and I was like, golly, so many people out there that need this, that are, you know, they don't, like what you were saying, Mike, they might not know, they just don't know what's out there. Crazy. But Bray, if you want to.
No, yeah. So I'm Bray Joseph. Yeah, prior to doing this, I was in the medical field. So Jake and I kind of had completely different backgrounds. I mean, besides obviously being together, but he was in construction and I had decided to take the route. I was always told that if I went and got a medical degree, that I would be, you know, I'd have a safe degree and I'd never be without work. So that's what I decided to do. I went into nursing school, and my goal wasn't just to be a nurse, but I wanted to be a nurse practitioner, because that's like who made the big bucks, you know, was being a nurse practitioner. And, you know, now looking back on it, I Googled it probably a few months ago. I was like, how much do nurse practitioners make? They make on average about $120 to $150 a year. And that's if they've been, you know, in their field for quite a while, and if they've been established with a good hospital. And so it's just crazy to think that that's the route that I was on, just because I was taught that stability was key, and that, you know, that you needed your degree to get a good job. So I'm just super grateful that Jara invited me to come along, you know. So I'm really grateful that we're here, and it's definitely done a lot for our kids. You know, we've been able to just show them. I like to show them that it takes work. You know, I don't want my kids to think that mom and dad don't work. I want them to know that we work really hard for the things that we have. So hopefully when they get older, you know, they don't think that things are just handed to them. I want them to work. I want them to be successful. So I'm grateful for you guys showing us what it's like to work, because we just want to duplicate you guys.
There you go. Well, that's cool. Talk to us about, as you guys are coming through this, you guys got started at some point, you guys made a decision to say, okay, you know, you're part-time, but talk about kind of whether it was a series of decisions or the decision. Talk about, how did we get there?
I mean, the first thing, when you ask how we got there, the first thing that comes into my mind is the leadership. I mean, Andy always says, see a turtle on a fence post, how it get there? Bet your bottom dollar is how by itself. There's no way it can. There's so many people there on this call and outside of this call that have helped us get to where we are now. I mean, Jara opened up and asked us the question. And with her, the way she worked this business, just based off like her schedule, we copied that exactly. And to this day, that's why we stay as consistent as we are, because of what we learned from her. I mean, seeing Joseph Dukes with what he sacrificed when he did this business, traveling and just not being scared and doing what it took. And then just hearing you and Noel's story, and where we could relate how you guys did this together. All of you guys came in, participated to help us make that decision, because we saw what you guys were doing. And we wanted to be there. You guys just set the example. So if I can say one thing that helped us get there to make those decisions, it was just you guys setting the example of what you were doing for your family.
FOMO.
We didn't want to miss out. I think, Mike, you might remember this conversation. We had a conversation the other night, and we were playing pickup sticks with kids. Have you guys ever played pickup sticks? It's a bundle of sticks. I'd never played it. Super simple game, and it's just a bundle, and you drop it, and you've got to pick them up without moving the others. And you had called us, and we had to put the game on pause. And we weren't even on there that long, 5-10 minutes. And all of a sudden I get like this pain in the bottom of my foot. And our older daughter is stabbing me in the foot with the stick. She's all, come on, Dad, let's go. I said, hey, stop. I said, this is Mike Lewantowicz. He's going to make us rich. He is going to bring generational wealth to our family. We are going to talk to him. and I stopped to think, and I'm talking to myself. I'm like, man, sometimes am I just picking up sticks, or am I taking time with our leaders to build what we really want? And it's crazy, because we have the examples here. We have everything we need. It's just a matter of, like what Chris was talking about, is the activity. It's just getting to work, asking for help. I mean, we've got all these people here, got so much help. So I think, the biggest things that helped us to make the decision where we are today is from the leadership, what you guys are doing for your families. Bray's exactly right. We did not want to miss out. We did not want to look a year forward and look back and be like, holy crap, if we would have just listened a little bit more, communicated more, worked more, traveled more, we could have so much more.
Yeah. And, for me, I'll look at where you're at and I'll look at what you guys are doing and I see how you're building your business. And it's exciting knowing, and y'all are how young now?
25
and 26. Yeah.
She's 25 and 26. And so we look at, so just looking where you're at, how young y'all are and the maturity that you've got as you're building your business and where it's going, this opportunity to get to a partnership level to be an integrity partner like before age 30 and just knowing what you have the capacity to do is just a massive thing and what that can mean. Yep, you got your hat, and so you're just thinking about that. And so what I look at is, hey, we come back and we look at people say, why are you more excited? Because I told you, hey, I'm more excited for people that are coming in. Why am I excited? The robustness of our lead system and the multiple lead tools we have. I mean, when we got started, we had one lead. It was a mortgage protection lead. You had to fly around to get them or they could run out or whatever else. We didn't have, when I first started, we didn't even have a thing called B leads. We didn't know what that meant or how. I was like, or follow-up leads or R2s or A3s. We didn't introduce that concept until around 2006. So we were in business for 6 years before we even knew what a follow-up or a B lead was. But it was still, we didn't have final expense leads until 2008. We didn't have final expense carriers until 2008. It's just so many little things along the way that we've added. We did not have an online lead map. That was something that had to be built. It's like Oasis. There was a time when Oasis didn't exist, where you couldn't just click and within seconds have leads. That did not exist. Leads had to be shipped to us in a UPS pack. And there was times when they shipped and they arrived during the rain and we had to take them out of the soggy UPS pack and hang them up to dry like laundry before we could put them in a fax machine to send them to another agent on the team. Y'all know what a fax machine is? Some people I know. And it's like, I've never seen one of them before.
I know what it is, but I've never used it.
We just know the sound they make.
Yeah. And so but the worst is you would say, okay, Jake, I'm getting ready to send these leads. Plug your fax machine into your phone line and don't answer the phone when it rings because it's my fax machine. And so then my fax machine would call and you'd hear, hello? Just said, don't pick up the phone. So the ability to distribute leads electronically, to have different types, is like, this gratitude for what's there. The fact that even as we started to introduce internet leads, but they've gotten better. The fact that we even have some where people put in a name of a beneficiary and a relationship and the amount of coverage. The fact that we have leads for term, for final expense, for mortgage protection, for Medicare. The fact that as we've gotten good in the life world, that for the people that want to learn the Medicare side and know that that's a natural fit for those clients, and now they're getting 2 sales for 1 lead. Either they're helping them out with Medicare and coming back with final expense, or helping out with final expense and coming back with Medicare. That's taking the lid off of people's income and making them more profitable. The fact that we've got a registered investment advisor to help us place more annuity business and have the credibility to help protect the other money all under one roof and get a one account statement if they want. Having that set of tools is available. The fact that we've learned how to embrace telesales as a piece of our business in conjunction with meeting face to face. The ability to have a CRM and have that tool available to help you stay organized and stay in touch with your clients, and have a tool to go back and take advantage of that is massive. I was just looking, there's a video that Robbie's got and Chris Hill was talking about. They're talking about doing some tests. They're just using the ARC and the CRM as a tool to help recruit other agents that have got a business, just because people don't have access to that as a tool. So when we look at why am I so excited about bringing people in? Our compensation structure. When I started, the max compensation we had in the system was a 110. Our compensation now, if you think about it, it goes up to 163 points. between all the glow payouts and the top end. When we started, 50 was our starting point. Well, now it's 55, and you quickly move off of that. And it's like, but we tapped out at 110, but now we tap out, like as I said, at 163. So all these things that are out there, the multiple carriers, the opportunity to have true equity in a partnership deal and have an exit strategy that's massive is something else that didn't exist. So I'll look at, if people say, why are you excited? When I'm talking to someone, because I see how it's gotten better, and I can see how the future for every agent that's here, every agent that comes on, is just amazingly more unlimited than it was when we got started. Limits and barriers have continued to be reduced. And so for the person that's saying, I'm ready to work and I'm ready to learn and I know I can do this, it's amazing. And so as we sit here and I look at it, I say, what's it look like? What's it going to take for us to move more people to partner quickly? And you know what? It is really simple. I can boil it down to a few things. Andy has boiled it down for a few things. Here's the first one, 40-40. 40-40. Everybody on and here's what I found. Everybody in our organization that's moving and shaking is doing 40-40. What's 40-40? They're running 40 appointments a week, and they're connecting with and talking to 40 different people about what we do. Everybody's doing 40-40. You say, well, Mike, I saw somebody that did 30 appointments. They did 32. They did 50. Understand what I mean when I say 40-40. They're doing it at a high level. We're not auditing to say, are they doing exactly 40 each and every week? But we're talking about 40-40 as a rallying cry. And doing 40 interviews or prospecting calls or checking with people, checking interest with people. And that's how we're building personal momentum in our personal selling and in what we're doing to find talent in recruiting. Everybody's doing 40-40. Here's what else I know. Everybody that's shaking and with us, everybody's going to be at national conference. Everybody's going to be at national conference. You're going to be there. I'm going to be. Everybody on the team is going to be at national conference. That's how I know we're going. I'm looking. We've got a record number of tickets. We've already blown through what we projected. We got more things in more time because we're talking about it and finding more people that are looking for what we've got. More people, everybody on our team, as they're out living their lives, they're taking a moment to notice the people around them. And they're saying, hey, they're taking an interest. They're getting to know them. And they're saying, hey, Joseph, man, we could use some help. We could use someone like you with your skills. Chris, man, I think you could do well here. Man, whether it's part-time or full-time, we could use your help. I think you should take a look at what we're doing. Jake, man, hey, we need somebody with some energy and youth like you to come and help us out. People are taking the time to notice and reach out to people crossing their paths every day. We're seeing that happen. And so that's like the third big thing that's happening. I've got two more things. Everybody's investing in staff to grow and get them to help. They're investing in staff. In fact, Jake and Ray, talk about your investment in staff and how's that been working and how's that going for you?
It's been great. Right now, we've got one person working for us, and we're actively looking for a recruiter. So it's definitely kind of like what you were talking about. You could be the discombobulated, messy person. That's definitely Veray. Jake's more so the organized guy, but I just like you said, you could come here and not know how to organize anything, but if you know how to talk to people, we could teach you. And so we definitely, found somebody who is strong in that suit that can help us with that. And that's the help that I need in order to get stuff issued. So, because that's just not my strong suit. So looking for help to do that has been one of the best things that we've done, and definitely excited to get a couple more people with us to help us grow this business. We just took a big step in our business and signed the lease on an office, and we're going to be in there.
That's massive.
Yeah. So we're super excited about that. We're going to be in there by January 1, and our goal is to just fill it up with staff and have a place for people on our team to come and feel welcome and get a culture going, getting people dialing there and just feeling welcome. That's what, we want to create a culture. I know your guys' office, Joseph and Venus have created an amazing culture in their team that we are so lucky to be a part of. And we just want to duplicate that. So we're super excited.
Yeah. And with the leaders, I mean, we had Noelle come when she was in Albuquerque, and we saw the office, and instantly in our heads, we thought there was a couple spots. And we're like, oh, this could be set up for here because there's cabinets. This would be perfect. Oh, this could be like a little break room and have this and that. And she walked in there and she was like, tell them to rip those things out. You don't need those. Those are 2 extra offices right there. Fill this thing up with people. And we were like, oh, that, okay. So we were just like, I'm glad Noelle came because that
break room. We don't take breaks.
Yeah. No,
all right. But so y'all investing in staff, investing in office space, you're taking the next step. I see Chris grab a call, but I know Chris has invested in staff. Joseph, y'all talk about your investment in staff along the way.
Yeah. So I got my first, I remember Andy telling me years and years ago, I actually asked him when I should get my first secretary. And he says, well, how long have you been here? I'm like, 3 years. He says, you should have done it 3 years ago. So I'm like, okay, so I've had a staff person right now. We have some phenomenal staff. I have Heather does a great job at just take stuff off my plate that I shouldn't be doing. Like, someone told me you're either doing the $10 an hour work or $20 an hour work or you're paying someone to do it. So if I can go out and help someone, and make $1,000 in an hour and a half, it makes way more sense for me to have someone else do that. We just recently brought on a new person and we tried something new. I was trying to find a bunch of local people and we just kept struggling and tripping over and not really finding good folks. So we actually found someone at distance. So now I actually have remote staff that I'm working with as well. And Taylor's done a great job. She's actually helped book up my calendar. I had 17 current client appointments booked on Tuesday because of the work that she put in. And then, and then she was on the phone while I was working with the team here yesterday. She was on the phone booking up my calendar for today and tomorrow. So, I mean, it's been a game changer for me. And she's doing interviews today. And she worked with me earlier this week to talk to some licensed agents, that she had kind of pre-booked into my calendar. So, I mean, it's multiplying my time. There's times that I've hit peaks of how much I can make. And I know that it's like, hey, if I'm at this level of income and I'm working, I'm not slacking. So it's like, so if I know that I'm working and I know that there's more available, I have to figure out a way to create more time. And maybe we all have the same 168 hours in a week, but really, how can I make that time more effective? And Venus is all over me about this because I keep trying, I'll do that. I'll do that. She's like, listen, you got people that want to help you. You got people on your team that want to contribute. You got staff that you're paying. Like, put them to work. They want to contribute to what you are creating. So just, it is a game changer. If you don't have staff, I would just tell you, find one and then know that you're going to go through a bunch to find a super good one. And then you should probably focus on getting even some more after you get a really good one, because you never know when life is going to happen, because it will happen.
Yeah. It's a backup. Yeah. And I think that's a whole nother learning curve. So there's a learning curve as you're working with staff. Chris, you want to comment on your choosing to invest in staff along the way?
Yeah, so I've got a part-time person right now who she just got her license not too long ago, so she's becoming an agent, and that's awesome. She's doing great. She's brought people to me as well, so she's building a team as well. Looking for a recruiter. Looking for other ways to invest in staff. Probably an office is not in the cards. Very, very close to now, and there's just a lot of stuff right now that I can see that I need to be more organized, and I need to be. I've just got a lot of low value type things, or comparatively low value type tasks that need to be done. I'm going to need more staff. I'm going to need a recruiter. I'm going to need, Heather to do some other things. And so So yeah, I see that as that for sure needs to grow for me.
So powerful things. And I think, so we come back. So what are we seeing everybody doing? Everybody's doing 40-40. Everybody's attending a national conference. Everybody's noticing and talking to other people they run across. Everybody's investing in staff. Everybody's making sure as they're growing, they're getting office space to house their staff and help their agents along the way. Is it the first thing you do? No. Get some coaching to figure out before you sign a lease. Jake and Ray have talked, Jess and I talk. Everybody's talking, so we're doing smart things. People are investing in travel to go see and serve other agents. I know, Joseph, you've been on a plane. Jake and Ray have been on a plane. Chris been on travel. I know we got other people. Other people are stepping up. They're going out as they find people that are responding. They're going out and serving and building relationships and taking time, whether it's sitting down next to somebody during a dial session, during a recruiting session, maybe they're doing some ride-alongs. It can be a number of things, breaking bread together, but going out and just building relationships, building presence. And those are the things that we know. Very simple. That list of stuff we said, that's where we're investing. I guess investing in leads, we've kind of talked about already today. These are the places where people are investing to grow their business and make bigger things happen. So guys, hey, it is December 3rd, and this is an awesome month for those that choose to make it an awesome month. Some people like Christmas because it's a great excuse. Some people like Christmas because it's a great opportunity the month of December. Some people say, man, everybody's with their families and spending money. I can't sell no life insurance. You know what? Another agent says, you know what? Everybody's thinking about their families and spending money. We're selling a ton of life insurance. Which one are you? And let's get out there and let's know that December's been one of our biggest months. You got a chance to make some big things happen. Guys, we need you. We're growing. We're doubling and tripling. Let's rock and roll. We'll see y'all out there. Thanks, guys. Bye.